You're listening to Fear in the Southwest podcast. This is Drew.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Lewis.
Welcome back. Welcome back, our spooky friends. Today is not a storytelling day.
No, not today.
If you want storytelling, listen to the last two episodes. It was fun. But today's topic's creepy.
Yes.
It is.
It is pretty creepy.
Skinwalkers.
Well, nobody's freaked out yet.
No.
It's not working. Skinwalkers.
So does everyone here know what a skinwalker is, or
I
general idea?
I know it's a general idea from the Navajo where people can possess the skins of like animals and other people even. And
Yeah.
Basically witches.
Take shape.
It's Native American witches. You want simplified? That is simplified.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was doing some research. That was the most simplified answer. Is they are Native American witches, which are different than their normal shamans and everything. Because shamans are good, but the Native American witches, especially with the Navajo culture, they're the evil.
They did the
ones
dirty
that will-
work.
Yeah, they'll possess animals. There's even some legends where they possess people.
And you hear that a lot. You hear about people getting lost, and then they find someone that they were with, and they swear it's them, but they have like a blank look on their face or something, and they realize it's not really them. It's someone mimicking what they look like.
and the for most of the witches in the Native American world were male and not female.
That's another.
So
And don't mix the healers with the skinwalkers.
That's
No.
what I was
True,
saying.
yeah.
Unlike the shamans and all them who are
the medicine doctors
medicine men. That's it. Thank you. I could not remember
or
the
medicine
name.
men.
So being here in Arizona, we do have the Navajo Reservation up north,
By Chinley.
Yep.
and of course parts of Utah and
Utah's got the Skinwalker Ranch.
Yep.
But it wasn't just the Navajo that had skinwalkers. They're the biggest ones. But there was other tribes or
Yeah.
tribal nations that had them as well.
yeah.
The
Yep.
Pueblo people, the Apache, the Hopi. I think I said that one right this time. I usually screw that name up. So
The Hopi.
I still screwed up. I apologize to anybody from that group.
Tribe.
I'm sorry. Tribe. Thank you. I couldn't remember. I do apologize if I butcher your names. But yeah, they have it too. That's the reason why I called it the Native American witches, because it's not just Navajos that have them. Oh, a lot of the big ones have them.
Nah.
I
Native American witches. NAW. Nah.
Oh, I was like, what?
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I didn't think.
but I wonder if the tribes that we have here in Tucson now, like the Yavapai and the Tohono O'odham, have skinwalkers.
Well, Tohono O'odham is like one of the most peaceful tribes.
They were considered the most peaceful, or not the most peaceful. They were considered a peaceful tribe at one point, and that's why they were so easily conquered by the Spaniards here. And that's why there's
And
so
the
much of this
Navajo.
area that still has,
Spanish
like-
influence.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
That's good.
Well, I think we would have the Spanish influence even if the Tohono O'odham would have defeated the Spanish. I think the Spanish culture would have already been here somewhat anyway. I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
Yeah, there's some traditions that believe that the skinwalkers were actually very benevolent medicine men who strayed off the path and started to delve into the taboo.
Such as cannibalism.
Yeah, they started using their magic for evil purposes, you know. There's also other traditions that believe a man, woman, or even a child could become a skinwalker. All they have to do is commit some kind of deep-seated taboo. So if there's a deep-seated taboo in the tribe, regardless of age or gender, that person could be considered and prosecuted as a skinwalker if they commit it.
And the Navajo also thought that the skinwalkers were shapeshifters, where they could take any form of any animal, which is interesting.
They kind of used the Navajo, at least, in their basically how I understand it is like the medicine, had to learn the good practice, and then they also had to understand the evil side, and to protect them from the evil side, they kind of used like skinwalkers. They kind of used skinwalkers as the dirty work, or how to go against it or whatever. It's kind of a preventative thing.
Well, there's a lot of cultures who they say don't answer if you hear your name. You're alone. Don't answer it. It's a way for them to take over you. Also, if you hear whistling, don't follow it. Don't whistle back.
Yeah, they also share some similarities to European
Yeah.
folk tales, like the werewolf.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows a werewolf can only be killed by either a silver bullet or silver dagger, some type of silver piercing their heart. The Native Americans, their lore also says that the skinwalkers are nearly impossible to defeat except by either a knife or a bullet that's been dipped into white ash. So instead of the silver, it's a white ash, which, of course, if you get white ash on a bullet or a knife, you'll notice it kind of turns a little silvery color. Also, in pulp culture, J.K. Rowling's, her famous work, Harry Potter? Skinwalkers. Navajo witches. It was inspired by the legends and everything, and that's where she came up with a lot of the elements from there. I mean, she got it from the European folklore and everything too, but yeah, it also had influenced her in it as well. The whole transformation into animals that we've seen them do on the movies and read in the books, yeah, again, came from the skinwalkers.
Yeah.
So even though the Native Americans don't really discuss it a whole lot with outsiders, it's one of the traditions they'd rather keep kind of off in a back corner or back closet, just hiding away. Thankfully, there's been enough that have come out of that closet, and that came out all wrong. Have come out to the light, and
You're not helping yourself.
Basically, they've told about it. They're trying to pass on the traditions not just within their tribes, but also to the general public. It's another way to help keep traditions alive.
Yeah.
Is you can keep it just in your tribe, but eventually, either if it doesn't get passed around inside the tribe enough, it'll fade away into obscurity and nobody will remember it. Or you can, branch out, tell it to other tribes, other people. That way, then they can put it in some other form of record keeping and, can survive longer. I mean, the Brothers Grimm, they had actually traveled around all of Europe, gathering up all the folk tales they heard from different villages and whatnot, and actually compiled them into a book. And that's where we got the Grimm fairy tales. In fact, the movie, The Brothers Grimm, is kind of based upon their, it was based upon, them actually, they Hollywood took care of that. They exaggerate everything, but basically it was still telling the story of how they went around the countryside collecting. Because remember, the younger brother would always collect all the stories. But yeah, it is it's very interesting though. I mean,
it is
when you
interesting.
find out that other cultures have similar types of beliefs that into the supernatural that you may think.
It makes you wonder, is there something there? If you have these European stories and then you have these stories here.
And we know that a lot of Europeans came over here.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
like who influenced who, or is this just like a happy coincidence that it happened that way?
Yeah.
Well, we're not 100% certain. Like I said, a lot of Native American traditions or lore kind of mirrors a lot of stuff you see in Europe. But then again, Europeans did come over here to, conquer the new land and steal everything. But it's creepy as hell.
It is, yeah.
Is anybody else hearing the hum? That's
Air
kind of-
conditioning.
Air conditioner came
Air
on.
conditioning.
Ah,
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Stacy.
okay. Just making sure that the skinwalkers weren't trying to attack us.
And that's the thing. They say that sometimes if someone has an enemy, they can make a deal with one of these witches or the skinwalker, and then that skinwalker will target the enemy. But they need a possession of that person. And so a lot of Native American people believe, like, you know, if you clean your hairbrush, you have to flush it. You don't throw it in the trash, because if someone doesn't like you and they come to your house and they see your hair in the trash or your brush, they can take it and they can take it to one of these people and have something come after you or torment you.
Put a
and that
curse
can-
on you. Basically, there's another
Like a
similarity.
bounty.
Voodoo.
Voodoo, exactly.
Voodoo would do the same thing. Get a piece of a person, a hair, fingernail,
Yeah.
anything that may have had, that came off the person's body, and then they would, be able to put a curse on them or put it into a voodoo doll or
Yeah.
whatever. Again, that's another similarity. And
And voodoo was introduced here, by the Haitians. You know, people went and they got slaves, they brought them over, and they had these traditions, they had these cultures, and then
and again, it's like, oh well. I mean, that's another reason why America is called a melting pot. It's not just because a whole group of people either came here voluntarily or were forced to come here.
yeah,
It's also all the traditions that those people brought with them. I mean, when the Irish came, they brought their traditions. Scottish, the English, the Spanish, the Africans, the Haitians, the others, because I know there's others. I just can't think off the top of my head. And then, of course, you have the Native Americans who are here first. That they bring in all their traditions, and of course, over time, it's all originally just was word of mouth. So it gets muddied. No one can really remember exactly who came up with which tradition
Exactly,
always.
yeah.
And here's the thing too, because at one time all the continents were all smushed
yes,
together.
they were.
And there was the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So-
the other reason why a lot of people are thinking that's why so many different cultures have very similar traditions
And-
and lore.
And the people were all Mongoloid, which would be the Native Americans. That would be the Chinese. That would be anybody, including some Russians even, because they're all Mongoloids, which means they have the characteristics
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
of that area.
you see the features. Yeah,
Mhm.
and when you
Yeah, that is true.
So some of it could be from, because I'm sure they weren't called Tohono O'odham or Navajo, or they broke off into their own separate nations once the continents started breaking apart.
And a lot of religious sects
yeah,
sects with a T. They believe that, because in the Bible, we had the Tower of Babel.
yeah,
Originally, everybody had spoke the same language.
exactly right.
It was all God's language. Well, then they wanted to build a tower up to visit God. And he's the one that went and introduced new languages.
New languages.
And a lot of them had, talked with different historians and geologists and everything. And they were able to kind of pinpoint it down to around the same time when Pangea first started to split
Yeah,
and separate into the different continents, was right around the same time when people started speaking different languages. Which is the reason why you have the different languages spoken on the different territories of the world.
yeah,
It's just one of their ways of, combining that together.
You had to bring a religious aspect into it.
But it
we're
does-
talking
yeah, it
about
does
lore
come
and
in, yeah.
traditions. To the Native American peoples, their traditions are very spiritual. I mean, they smoked the peace pipe, which everybody knows had whack tobacco in it. There's no way in hell you're gonna get the war chiefs to sit around a table and talk calmly unless you go ahead and do a little puff pass amongst them. Seriously, I mean, they were able to resolve a lot of issues, especially when they were fighting against us, the white people, because the peace pipe passed around amongst all the tribes, and they were able to actually, calmly talk about it and put aside their anger against each other. Thanks again to Wacky Tobacco.
yeah.
Now, they may have been smoking peyote.
It's about the same thing.
No, peyote is different. Peyote gives you hallucinations.
Yeah, so a lot of these hallucinations would help with envisioning what they wanted for their people, or kind of even like some say even give them psychic abilities because they go into a different state of consciousness.
Well, what else? What do you think the shaman's over there, the medicine man's throwing on the fire while everybody's up and around the smoke? I mean, he definitely throwing some kind of psychogenic stuff up inside that fire to really, get that smoke flowing amongst everybody. I mean,
Yeah, but
And it would help with their decision making. And that's why sometimes they're like, they could see war coming. They could see certain things happening, or whatever decision they make, they could see what would happen afterwards. Like
Yeah, I actually talked to
repercussions would be.
many years ago when I was a youngin', I went to a.
You just called yourself old.
I know, trust me, because this was back in the '90s. Everybody here's about to feel old on this one. Anyways, me and my dad went to a local tribe back in my home state.
what was that?
I have no idea. Stop messing with the buttons over there.
It was me.
No, it was him. And I was actually, chit-chatting with the tribe chief and the medicine man. And he did mention, I thought it was wax tobacco, I still do. They deny it, but they did mention the whatever the hell you said.
Peyote.
Peyote, that they would use that, and that would help mellow everybody out. And not only would the medicine man use some of that to throw into the fire, but also some other psychosomatic stuff, like some mushrooms they would grind up into powder and throw that in there. Anything that would help, basically give them an out-of-body experience so they can see the world from a different angle. Basically, they would help them commune with spirits. Because I was like, what do you mean by out-of-body? She goes, it helped us commune with spirits. I'm like, oh, now I got you. He goes, I hate how to simplify that for you white folks, but this is how it is.
But
This guy was like pushing 90 years old. I mean, his give a fuck button failed.
peyote, its main hallucinogenic isn't the THC. It's mescaline. And it comes from a cactus. The spineless cactus. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know if I could do peyote.
There's a women's retreat that goes to a certain part of California in the desert, and they just get together and they smoke and dance naked around the fire. It's supposed to be empowering.
Okay.
I'm not saying I ever went, but
Have you joined this little group of women that does this? Yeah. I'm thinking
Welcome
maybe.
to the Peyote Club, everybody. Welcome to Peyote Resorts.
Couple puffs, then you pass it along. Yeah, because
Naked dance around the fires at 6 o'clock. Don't be late.
Yeah, because while we were doing that thing when I was a kid, they actually did have a peace pipe that the adults could do. I mean, the kids all had to walk away, but and it was just regular tobacco at the time. They made a big announcement telling anyone adult that wants to try this and they don't mind inhaling smoke from tobacco. This is not what our ancestors used. This is regular tobacco, but you may partake of the peace pipe. But yeah, they would just take a couple puffs because the chief showed it. He goes, "This is the proper way to do it." He'd inhale and just like how you would do with any kind of marijuana or the peyote. You inhale air afterwards, hold it for a minute, then breathe it out, and then he goes, "It's just regular tobacco. It's going to be a little harsh for some of you, but that want to do it as we do." So yeah, it was definitely a bit of a really. Someone just did a puff and passing along, isn't he? Oh. Your turn, huh?
Pardon me.
And he calls himself out.
Oh no, we already. Well, yeah, he did. Yeah.
The audience don't know.
Next time, wait till the dogs are in here so you can just blame them.
Loki, yeah.
Damn it, Loki.
Or wait till Waylon's
Damn
in
it,
here.
Lewis.
and
We're
he's
not blaming
diaper
her. We're not
again.
blaming Waylon.
We had to blame him earlier.
Well,
Oh,
He
there's a
just
reason
said
for
that. Oh,
Skinwalkers. Creepy. shapeshifter, spirits
Cannibals.
of evil doings.
Well, the thing is, when you'll hear people describe what they see. Like, so if someone encounters a skinwalker or even werewolf, a lot of the similarities of what they see, like
Are the
they've
same.
never met each other, they've never talked about it, but it's almost the same. So it's like, there's got to be something.
Yeah, because the faces look the same,
Yeah.
just not. They're just kind of zoned out though when they're a skinwalker. But they'll match up to the person you think they are, which is yeah.
Oh, and there's another type of skinwalker that a lot of people don't realize is a skinwalker. Anyone here heard of a Wendigo?
Yes.
Wendigo.
One of the biggest taboos is eating human flesh. And
Yeah.
it's from Native American lore that if you eat the flesh of a human, you'll be possessed by a demonic being, and you'll actually transform into the Wendigo and become a skinwalker, basically.
No, thank you.
I forgot that those two were
Yeah.
connected.
And there's a lot of stories about that.
No, thank you.
So let's go around the table and tell me if you believe in skinwalkers or don't believe in skinwalkers. Starting with Lewis.
I'm not going to say that I believe in them because I've never seen one. But the Native Americans believe them, so, and we live in a Native American hub here in Arizona. So I'm going to let them have their thing and not try to bust it.
I feel that there's a strong possibility they could exist. I mean, I'm originally from Massachusetts. We had the Salem witch trials. There was a lot of unexplained happenings with the ones that were considered witches. That, it was true facts that they did, but nobody could explain it. So there could be some underlying truth amongst the lore. It may have been exaggerated, and some of the translation may have been lost over the years. But just judging from my own background, I gotta say there's a good possibility it could be real. Yeah.
And I know a lot of things that they try to blame the Salem witch trials on, and even people who were suffering from being a lunatic, because it's associated with the moon, has to do with what's it called, wolfsbane. And it was a hallucinogen, and it would actually make people act out in such a way where they could bite other people and think they were transforming. So it's like, was it hallucinogen, or is there something else and they just covered it up with that,
That is true.
Me?
Yep,
Okay.
you're up.
So yeah,
Oh, I
I
thought
do.
she was.
No.
I thought she was already saying she was agreeing with.
No, I was like, yeah, that's a...
Oh, okay. I'm 3 steps behind.
Oh, you're... No, I think so. And it's because when I was younger, I saw something very weird that I can't explain. And it bothered me to the point, I was like actually really scared. It bothered me to the point that the next day my mom was like, "What's wrong with you? Like, you're acting weird. You're not yourself." And I told her, and I thought she was going to laugh at me. I thought she was going to accuse me of doing drugs or like something, because, she was a cop lady. And so she didn't trust teenagers. And so, but no, she actually believed me. So. So, yeah. What I saw was, it's a long story, but it feels like what I saw was someone transforming into something. I'm not going to say they were transforming into a werewolf. I'm not saying they were a shapeshifter, but they were not. It didn't look human. It looked like a human not becoming human. And I was about 19. I went to the movies. The movie wasn't going to start for a while. My boyfriend and I got in a fight, so I got out of his car and I went walking somewhere. I was going to walk home. And so I was in a neighborhood, a dark neighborhood in this park, and I could hear, it sounded like metal music. Like someone was like, the screaming kind of metal music.
Oh, yeah. Heavy metal.
So I was like, okay, someone's listening to music. But when I looked in this car, there was someone there, and they were like shaking a lot. And their hands just looked like they were getting longer. and they were grabbing the steering wheel, and when they looked up, their eyes went from normal to yellow. And it got to the point where I just booked it. I just started running the other way, and then the boyfriend came around the block and was like, "Why are you running?" I was like, "Get in the car." I was like, "Drive." I was like hitting him to drive. I was like, "Please drive away." And then I told him, he's like, "You're on drugs."
Oh, even the boyfriend didn't believe you. Damn.
No.
It's like, look, do you want me to show you my pants? Because they are brown right now. They weren't that way.
Oh my god!
Jesus.
Damn.
Well, I would have shit myself if I would see something like that.
Like, it was
If I was
really
in
scary.
back
Yeah.
when I was 19, I saw something like that, I probably would have shit myself. I'm not gonna lie. I would have been that scared.
I
Like,
was-
oh, fuck this.
I was so afraid that it memorized me. I was so afraid it followed me. I didn't sleep that night. I had lights on. I was so scared it was going to come through the window. I was freaking out. You know, I was a teenager still. So I still freak out. If
That
I
is
saw
creepy.
But I can't explain it. And to this day, I'm like, I don't know what that was. Maybe it was just
Werewolves.
someone having a meltdown,
Skinwalker?
and I don't know. But their face, the features of their face was changing.
Mm.
It wasn't like a werewolf. It was just not normal, I guess.
Was he pulling a mask down?
I don't know. Maybe it was stuck on his face and he was trying to get it off. I don't know, but it was the summertime. It was like in June.
That's creepy.
Yeah,
If
I
it was
don't
like
have
Halloween time, I'd be like, maybe.
Yeah, if it was Halloween time, it would be more realistic.
But it was
of,
the
oh, it's a
eyes.
mask, but-
It was the eyes that freaked me out. And then when you hear people talk about skinwalkers and the color of their eyes changing to yellow, I'm like, oh my god, like what if I did see that?
That is creepy.
That
Um,
is-
I, for one, do believe that they exist. There's too many weird coincidences. I kind of feel like skinwalkers are more responsible for like, oh, what is that? They used to, oh my god, let's come up the what was that creature we talked about? The chupacabra.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I think chupacabra lore mixes with skinwalker lore.
Yep. Terribly sorry for the Mexicans. We forgot about you all's lore. I should have mentioned that. When I was mentioning all the other
Hispanics. Come on.
cultures. Latin Americans.
That works too.
Anyways, I feel
mostly
like
from
I think
Mexico,
those mesh. You know the chupacabra is more of a like cryptozoology creature, but I feel like there's kind of some ties with skinwalker lore.
Yeah.
Well, they never have actually pinpointed exactly what the chupacabra looked like. Every account that they've ever given of people, of tradition, lore that's been passed down of what it looked like, has always been different. There's been a few things that are similar, but never an entire picture of what it could be. Although the goat sucking, though, that is the sucking of the goat's blood. Sucking of the goat's blood. I should say that. I'm sorry. A lot of times whenever someone mentions chupacabra, especially in the media too, they always just say goat sucker.
Yeah. It's called the goat
so,
sucker. Yeah.
goat
No, I
sucker,
get it.
yeah.
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 You said goat sucking.
No, I said sucker. But then I changed it to sucking goat's
Yeah.
blood. That's where you got sucking from.
Oh,
What was my what was on? Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean,
welcome to ADHD if you're in the
Yeah, I don't
Southwest
know. I
podcast.
lost-
But
sorry, I completely lost track.
But
of
like
that thought.
you hear people about what is it called, Skinwalker Ranch, and they're saying that their cattle's being drained of blood and everything, and then the chupacabra is draining blood of goats. So it's like there are those similarities. It drains blood. Is it like a vampire being as well? Because then you got that kind of.
Well, there's actually
Folklore.
another thing to do with Native American traditions with the whole Skinwalker Wendigos. There's also called the Witchery Way. And it's where basically you turn from good to pure evil. The way you would do it is you'd perform a ritual, which usually involved murdering a close relative, especially a sibling, or other things you could do would be necrophilia and grave robbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had to bring that one back. Sorry, guys, but yes, but that also falls in. It's another part of the native lore, with the skinwalkers and the Wendigo and everything. It's all part of where you go from a good person to this evil being that can now change your form. You end up having different tastes. You can't normally ingest normal food. Your You know, you may end up, sucking blood from animals and whatnot, or even other people. You might even end up going way off the deep end and doing the other thing I mentioned.
Yeah.
We're not gonna mention that one again. Or you could, pull a Professor Frankenstein and start digging up bodies. you
Yeah.
know. Although I think the grave robbing is not really grabbing the people; it's more their items on the bodies.
Yeah.
The jewelry and stuff.
Teeth, depending on what.
Oh, yeah, there's
what
also
era.
the- oh, yeah, there's
what
also the
century,
teeth, yeah,
the
that-
teeth.
Yeah, a lot of voodoo, the evil shamans, a lot of those, witches and whatnot. They use teeth and bones from people and animals. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me about that one. Yeah, it's all part of the witchery way. It's like all this stuff is kind of all embroidered under the giant umbrella of the witchery way. There's many different ways of getting into it. Basically, you just have to commit taboos, some of the most evil taboos in history, and that's how you get on the path of it. And depending upon what type of traditions you want to follow, will determine what type of evil person you may become. Good Lord, howdy.
So yeah, creepy topic. Google images if you guys want to see typical graphs of skinwalkers. Yeah, they're creepy and would like to avoid them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've already seen
I
images.
saw that one. Yeah, this was on the Denver Public Library. It actually shows different pictures where it's like basically they're into transition phases where they're going from human down to animal.
Yeah.
Kind of coincides with what you saw.
Yeah, and actually, after I saw that is when I started to really look up and get into what werewolves were, and because I was creeped out. I always felt like I had a hit on my back, like I saw it, it knows I saw it, it's gonna come get me, I don't know. So I did a lot of research and all that stuff.
Yeah. They're creepy and it sounds like they're pretty much worldwide, culturally speaking.
Yeah, like we were,
And yeah, don't whistle back at them.
Or
Thanks
don't
for-
answer them if you hear your name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they mimic. Thanks for listening to Fear in the Southwest podcast. This is Drew.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Lewis.
Stay spooky, my friends.
Don't whistle at the Skinwalker.
Definitely don't do that. No. And don't respond if they call you.